Okay, here we go. Now I got the GPS in front of me so I can see a few things. Because shortly, there's a tree line up there, and that's where we need to get to. So we're out of the swamp completely. I remember when I was coming through here this morning and I'm like, oh man, it's so bad through here. Oh, look, I didn't see that one. There's still a pole standing here. Look at that. That one looks old. Lots of moss growing on it. Again, missing the cross beams, the cross members. Oh, it's just a cable. Thought there was you could see a number on it. Oh, this is like nothing compared to walking through the spots with all the bloody alders. Maybe I was just upset because I couldn't actually ride. This is nothing. I just pushed the bike through it. See how everything's dried up here. Again, this would all be, and I think even the grade here is flooded because you can basically see it's all covered in vegetation, and so this would probably indicate that this is typically underwater here. Lots of tamaracks. Well, the tamaracks love their water. Oh yeah, this is nothing. This is simple. Yeah, you can see how close we are to the swamp there. What's that? A piece of metal? Maybe an old bucket. See the lodge over there. See a old rail anchor here. You can see it's all rusted, like badly rusted. So again, showing that it's underwater. And here you can actually see, because you can see this kind of the berm of the dam here, and then here you can see kind of the end of it. And I've got this marked on my GPS here, right? So you can kind of see that, again, the berm of the dam here crossing the railway grade. So if you notice things look a little different, is because this is a different time of the year. It's a different year. So we were here in October of 2024. It is now May of 2025. We came back because there's some new information we want to add to the video. And interestingly, since we were here the last time, so we were here at the end of October, somebody or someone came through and basically cleared up the grade just up there where you can see some marking tape, and cleared this whole section out here all the way back to Dog River Road, which is fantastic because it makes it a lot easier to move. I started the video here because this is a known reference point where this old sort of beaver dam berm was. You can see that there's a rail anchor here. So what we want to do is we want to add some new information to the video, and while we're here we'll just record this section here, basically because it's a lot easier to see things now that the brush has been cleared out. And we'll just record it all the way to Dog River Road. Here you can see the original ballast much better. So this is probably, see a piece of telegraph pole, this is probably what the grade looked like. I don't believe there was any work or anything done to this section here. And again, just witnessing by the ballast here, the original stone ballast. So what are we here looking at? Well, you'll notice right here, looks like there's something going off in that direction. Now, I have to say a big thank you to Ronnie for this, because he put me on to the LiDAR imaging. For a long time, I didn't think there was LiDAR coverage of this area, but there actually is. So if you don't know what LiDAR is, if you're not familiar with it, it stands for light detection and ranging. So basically, it's a system where they take imagery of the ground, but they use lasers. And so what it does is it penetrates all through the vegetation, and it gives you an idea of what the ground looks like. So there was something here. You can see this kind of section bumping out here and going this way. And the only reason why I know it's here is because it shows up clear as day on the LiDAR imagery, and essentially it curves and it goes that way, and it hooks into the Canadian Pacific grade, the Canadian Pacific Kansas City now. So what this was, why was this here, I don't know. I have no documentation of this. We know that there was something very similar in Raith, where there was a spur line that connected the two tracks, and I'm pretty sure that one dates back to when the railway was constructed, because we do have a map of Raith in 1914, and it shows it there. So possibly it was built when the railway was being constructed, and so this one may date back to that same period of time, because again, I have no documentation of that. It does not show up on the 1915 employee timetable, the 1918 one, and then from 1918 I have all of them, and there is no mention of a connection, a CP spur in this area at any time. So it could date back to the construction of the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the LiDAR imagery, and then we're going to loop around and we're going to see if we can follow it all the way down to the Canadian Pacific track. Luna, come here. All right, so I think we've picked it up here, coming off and skirting through this area here, and you're going to see where it's very, very apparent, because once we move into the tree line here, it shows up again very, very well on the LiDAR that it cuts through this ridge here. So again, I don't know when this was put in. This could have been very, very well original construction, so dating back to the beginning of the line, so 1905 to 1908, maybe very early on. Why this was put in here, that's a mystery. So again, it could have been like what was done at Raith, so essentially allowing trains to switch back and forth. You know, to the east, on the other side of Raith is very difficult section to construct, lots of rock work. So what they may have done is, what the heck is this? A big chunk of metal here. They may have built two of these spur tracks to connect the two railway lines together. But again, this does not show up on any documentation that I have. So we're just going to keep following it here. And we should eventually get to the Canadian Pacific line. So there we kind of came through a cut. And you can see kind of a, yeah, you can see a very distinctive elevated right of way here. You know, some people have knacks for doing useful things. I find old railway lines. I guess it's useful to some people. Wow, what a mess in here. And it's one of those goofy days today where it's cool. But once you get in here, out of the wind, it's hot. The sun is very warm. Some nice little flowers coming out. Oh, this is a young man's game. Getting a little old to do this. Well, it's definitely railway related because you can see this nice, again, elevated right away. I wish I had some documentation for it. Again, it could have been original construction. Okay, now this is going to get interesting here. How the heck do I get through here? The dog is going to scooch through there, and I'm going to try to figure out how to get through here. There's the Canadian Pacific, Kansas City. This may not look very good. I'm trying to do the best. Holding on to the camera here. That's a little bit better. The only problem is I have to go back. Whew. So here you can see nice and wide open. Whew. So again, there's the CPKC, the Kaministiquia Subdivision, Thunder Bay to Ignace. Oh, that breeze is so nice. Oh. You can feel the indentations from the ties. See if I can get another spot here. I'll turn the other way. Otherwise you can't see anything. I can feel the indentations here. Yeah, look, right here. Right up to the Canadian Pacific, Kansas City. So this was here for a reason. When it was put in, why it was put in, is the question. So there you can see, I don't know if you can see the highways in the background. So this folds right into the tracks. Right here. So again, why? We don't know. All right, we got to head back to the grade now. All right, so let's follow this section here. And now we do have, looking at the LiDAR, I want to see if we can follow a little bit better the spur here that belonged, the logging spur that was here, that belonged to Great Lakes Paper. There's a it's the 19th of May. It's just been a miserable weekend. It was wrecked our hike on Saturday. We came back out. Today's Monday. Today's Victoria Day, holiday here in Canada, and the sun is out, as you can see, but it's very, very cold. It is not warm at all. So let's see if we can see something in here. We tried kind of following this a little bit last year. I didn't have a lot of success. It kind of looks like there's something here. I got stuff in both my hands here. see, according to the LiDAR, it shows it kind of going off in this direction here, but there's a big ditch. So I wonder if they ripped out the the culvert that was here, or if that's not the siding. Right, because you can see the ditching here, and this is the original ditching. So I'm guessing the spur goes off in that direction over there. In any case, I'll show you the map and you can see it. Okay, let's finish this section off here, now that it's much easier to walk through because all the vegetation has been cleared. So again, to my right on the north side of the grade is that spur belonging to Great Lakes Paper, and just up ahead over here is Dog River Road. Again, it's very warm now. I don't know if the wind changed or the wind went down a little bit. I'm like melting. You can really see the natural character here of the grade with the ballast. I'm sure it was driven on for a little while. You know, further back we saw ruts, you know, so I'm sure people drove on it after, but then as the vegetation started to grow in and as you know, the beaver started to flood areas and stuff like that, and then people stopped. But for this line anyway, this is about as close as you're going to get to what it originally looked like while the railway was running. So again, you can still see a lot of the ballast. It hasn't been pounded flat, or it hasn't been covered over with finer granule. It's been quite the adventure today. We had to finish off a section we started on Saturday up by between Kelly and Larson, because we didn't get to finish because the weather decided not to cooperate. And then we had to come here and do this section, and we had to go as far back as Lincoln, so it's about a mile. And it's not like this. It's very grown in, and when we were here in the fall time, it was very dry. It's wet in spots, very wet. We made sure we wore our rubber boots when I was here in the fall time. As you saw in the videos there, I thought I could bike it. So much easier without the bike. At least when it's grown in and you can't use the bike. And then, so we've done 4.6 kilometers, and we biked to like 24 this morning. So we're getting our steps in. See remnants of telegraph poles here on the next section, which we just finished off today because it took us, well, basically 3 hikes. We were supposed to do it in 2, but again, the weather didn't cooperate, so we had to do it in 3 sections, or 3 hikes. It was 2 sections, and you'll see lots of telegraph poles, standing ones. There's one standing just right over there. right, so we have arrived at the end here. Nice to kind of redo this. You can see the telegraph pole there. Cross beam is gone. There's another one over there. So there's the truck. So this is now going to hook into the next section of video. So now we can finish these off and get these posted up to YouTube. And so today actually the first segment from the Raith videos that we did last week just dropped. All right, so it'll hook into the next video.